Q&A time. See, I'm a whammon of my word. I said if you leave comments down in the last video, I'ma answer them. And here I am. However, a lot of Q&A videos tend to be boring. Apparently, if I just sit in the same spot and talk the whole time, this will do this. But we don't want this to do this. We want this to do that. So we're gonna change up the scenery as we go. We'll answer a couple questions here first, though. Question 1. Nope. Question 2. Where's the chicken replacing it? You mean this guy? If you don't know, on TikTok a couple months ago, I said I was gonna make the chicken replacinator for Dan Povenmire, which is a prop from Phineas and Ferb, and Dan Povenmire is the co-creator of the show and the voice of one of the characters, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I am hoping to have a video of that whole thing up when I'm done, because I want to put it all in one video. So he's coming together, he don't look like he's together. So, it looks like a blob. I'll show you what it does though. I just turned on the screen, the potentiometer's not plugged in. But basically, so far I've got it so that you can turn this potentiometer and choose different options on the screen. When you pull the trigger, it'll light up at the end, and sound effects will come out of the speaker. What you just saw was the back plate too, and now the rest of it is printing, so you know, we making progress. Question 3. Do you think this is Airsoft safe? I've never played Airsoft before, so I don't know how bad it hurts, and I don't know how hard it hits. How hard do airsoft guns shoot? Yeah, sure. I mean, I abuse them anyway, right? Was this designed after rescue? Just because it's blue doesn't mean it's rescue. I honestly really just wanted a blue Iron Man suit. I guess my thought process was I already made a movie accurate one, so like, might as well have fun. But then of course, you know, Endgame came out and there's already a blue Iron Man, and I am a whammon, so people just think it's rescue. Understandable, but like, they do be different though. Moving time. Welcome to our guest room, where we have these fancy schmancy noisemakers to put you to sleep at night. Can you make a suit and maybe do a giveaway? Here's the thing. They take like... Shut up! I'm trying to... Actually, keep going, please. They take a hot minute to make. But you know, if we were to ever hit like 1 million subs on YouTube one day, sure, I might do something like that. I am, however, going to be doing a printer giveaway in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Dude, I have so many people asking me for Iron Man suits, and if I made an Iron Man suit for everyone who's asked for an Iron Man suit, I think I'd be making Iron Man suits until I die. Which leads into the next question. How long did the suit take to make? Like 6 to 8 months. The first one took 6, the second one took 8. That was also while I was in school though. And that's also with only 1 or 2 printers running. Let's get out of here, dadgum. There's no telling how bad this echo is right now. Alright, do you talk to other Iron Man suit YouTubers? That sounds like a whack question, but there are a lot of people building Iron Man suits, so I understand what you're talking about. I'm friends with a lot of them, which include, but are not limited to, these people. Other links are in the description below if you're interested. You should be interested. They're really cool people. Alright, what if you did Darth Vader with a voice changer? I do want to do something Star Wars. I know my husband is a huge like Boba Fett Mandalorian person. I want to make either one of those armors completely. Want to make both of the helmets for sure. My only thing is I want them to do something. So for example, like if I made the Boba Fett helmet, I'd want the little target finder to drop down. Or if I made the Mandalorian, I'd want to have little, I don't know, sparklers shoot out of his wrist. So if we did Darth Vader, we'd have to come up with something pretty cool. The voice changer would be hilarious though, because when I wear the Iron Man suit, people don't know I'm a girl already. Can you make Bucky's arm or Steve's shield? I do want to make the new Captain America shield from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think it looks clean. Is the UPS man really rolling up right when I've got the camera right here? Go away. When you have a wedding registry, bruh, you never know when you gonna get packages. They just be coming in the middle of the night. I'm not complaining though. But yes, wanna make that shield. Bucky's arm would be a little harder, but I'm open to trying it. You'd have to use some flexible filament or something there just to be able to bend your arm. But I don't know, could be fun. How did you fit all your hair in the helmet? It's a painful process. I need to get like a cap or something just to put over my entire head just so I don't have to deal with it at all. But you know, we just continue to suffer, it's fine. Have I had lunch yet? Don't ask me that question. One question that doesn't get answered in this Q&A. What kind of paint are you using? For both suits, I use automotive paint. For the red suit, I use the Duplicolor brand, and for... Did that just not sound super southern? Duplicolor. And for the blue suit, I used the Rust-Oleum automotive paints. Both of them worked really good, except the Rust-Oleum was a lot cheaper than the Duplicolor. And the cans for the Rust-Oleum were a lot bigger too. So you got a lot more bang for your buck. Both worked out really nice though, and I had no problems with either quality-wise. Next question. Have you considered making a suit entirely out of TPU? That is an option. However, TPU is a lot harder to get smooth. Most people will tell you it's not as easy to print with just because it's super stringy. And so quality-wise, for things like armor, it's nice to have things like PLA where you can sand it down to make it smooth. TPU, your only option is to really melt it. So you could do it, the finish just may not be as clean, which is why people typically use it for things like inserts or pieces that aren't quite as visible as others. So it's definitely possible, it may just not look as clean. Next question. How did you fix the icer? Alright, can you make a video on motorizing a helmet? I would like to do that eventually. But there's so much more to it. There's things like parts list, code. So I've been planning my Patreon launch for a while, and I've been thinking one of the tiers on my Patreon could be getting access to parts lists, coding instructions, and just general instructions for everything I build. So since the helmet motorizing is pretty common, I might include all that and give that to everybody. But I think for most other things that aren't as common, some of the other builds I do, I'll probably have parts lists and instructions available to some of my Patreon supporters. How did you get into 3D printing? So at first, I obviously thought 3D printing was something just for people who had money, right? But now you can get a printer, you can pick one up for about $150. So our school had a makerspace, which I started to use and quickly realized, hey, I can print anything I want. So being the huge Marvel nerd I am, I decided to print an Iron Man helmet. And then once I realized that was possible, we went down a slippery slope. Would you ever consider building the Infinity Gauntlet that lights up the stones? Yeah, I wanted to do something though. I know I sound dumb, but I wish I could think of something cool that would happen, you know? But obviously, I'd like to make it. I feel like it's kind of a cliche thing to make, but heck with it. I still want one, you know? What did you go to school for, and how did you learn to build stuff like this? I went to school for mechanical engineering, and you don't have to get a degree in engineering to be able to do this. I'll admit, most of this is self-taught. Everything 3D printing related, granted, I may have learned some things at our school's makerspace, but a lot of things are things that you just teach yourself through things like the internet. But I will say, 3D printing is not that hard. If you're scared of the modeling process, there are a ton of pre-existing files that exist. All you have to do is download it to the slicer and send it over to the printer. There's a ton of YouTube tutorials, and I'm fixing to release one myself. Will it be serious? We'll see. But I really want people to know that anyone can do this. It's not impossible. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. As far as modeling and stuff goes, I did have a class at school that taught me how to use Solidworks. And yes, that did help me transition over to other softwares like Fusion 360. But anyone can get started in things like Tinkercad, which are perfectly respectable for free. There are a ton of tutorials online, and I highly insist you watch some because as soon as you do, you'll realize anyone can do this. Along with this, we have this question. Did you design or buy the suit design? I kind of explained this a little bit in my last video. It's slightly complicated. The outer shell of the suit, what you see, is from do3d.com, which the link is in my description. They do have a ton of options to choose from. However, you have to make sure they're wearable first. I was using the Mark 7 file. I had to make it wearable. I couldn't fit my leg through the thigh piece. The ab piece wasn't chopped up at all. So basically, I had to edit the absolute living heck out of it. The things that I model completely myself, whether in Fusion or Solidworks, are things like mechanical pieces, things that are motorized, the hinges or mechanisms that open and close them. I modeled the entire back brace. That was my first time really diving into mesh modeling, but that worked out pretty well. Again, if you want to see that last video and see what these parts actually look like, head on over to my last video. So it's a mix of other designs plus mine. However, I just had to completely tear apart the other designs. And I do think it may have just been this file. I don't know. Next time, however, I build a suit, I plan on modeling it completely myself, just so I don't have to run into these issues to begin with. It'll be a lot more work, don't get me wrong, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. Next place. This, This is a grill. When I told you people will send you anything in a box when you get married, I mean they will send you anything in a box. For sizing, have you bought armorsmith? One, I didn't know you had to buy armorsmith. I don't know if you have to or not. I thought it was free. But two, I've heard it's very useful. For y'all that don't know, armorsmith apparently is really good at helping you scale armors to yourself. Anything for cosplay that's in like a 3D model format. The way I think it works is it uses a 3D scan of you and helps you fit it to yourself. So no, I haven't used that. I've been doing it the old-fashioned way. But I'll probably be looking into that next time. Especially if I plan on modeling a suit myself. Where did you study engineering? Studied mechanical engineering at Clemson. And yes, I'll admit, I won at the perfect time. We had 2 natties and then made the playoffs twice the 2 years we didn't win the natty. Not too bad. For football, if you're not familiar. Here it's just kind of implied. Finally, one more question. How much did it cost to make the entire custom Iron Man suit? / what 3D printer did you use? It cost me about $450 to make that guy over there, the red one, and it cost me about $500 to make the blue one, just because of the more involved electronics and printing I had to do. It cost about $200 in filament, $200 in paint if you use automotive paints, and the rest is just for other supplies. Granted, I already had a lot of it. Obviously, I already had the printers, I already had a good bit of electrical components, and I already had buckles and things like that. But that's just an estimate for me. The printers I used for those 2 suits were CR-10s. And by CR-10, I mean like the first version. I haven't gotten my hands on a V2 or anything yet. The volume on CR-10s are 30 by 30 by 40 centimeters. So your print bed is 30 by 30 and you have 40 centimeters to build up. So they're pretty good for their size, pretty good for their price. Again, if you're interested, links to Creality are in the description. They're probably my favorite printer brand so far, just in terms of being affordable and reliable. So if you're interested, check them out down below. If you're interested in a good beginner printer that's not gonna break the bank, I recommend an Ender 3 just because it's like $170 or $180. And the print volume is like pretty decent for the price you pay. Links to that will also be in the description. Typically just say that because it's probably one of the most common questions I get. So it's right there. But yeah, that's all the questions I got. Well, I hope you liked it. Whether this type of video style held your attention at all, I have no idea.